Hi, my name is Marty, and this morning my wife pointed out to me that my microdiscectomy surgery was 1 year ago today. And after I had my surgery, I thought about doing one of these videos because before I was getting my surgery, I was kind of terrified and had no idea if it was going to work or not, and if I was going to be okay. And I'm happy to say that I was completely fine. And a year later, I'm still completely fine. And I thought that since before my surgery, I went down the rabbit hole pretty quickly on these YouTube videos of people who had this surgery and people's experiences and opinions about it. And so many of them were overwhelmingly negative, which really freaked me out. So I thought, since I had a really fantastic success story, I thought maybe I should contribute to this dialogue a little bit on here and let you guys know about my story here. So just as a little bit of background, I woke up one day, like about a year and a half ago, with this bad pain down my leg. I had no idea what it was. It got progressively worse and worse until it was just really debilitating. I was sort of fortunate in the sense that the only time I was not in a lot of pain was when I was standing or lying down. So it didn't affect my sleep all that much, and it didn't affect my work all that much. I work as a conductor and a college professor, so being on my feet wasn't really a problem. So that was kind of lucky. Unfortunately, sitting down, standing up, getting in and out of the car, all of that stuff, and just generally moving around was just really excruciating. And I was just really miserable and starting to get a little depressed. The other complication was that my wife got pregnant with this little bug right here. This is Lenka. She is 6 months old. And that was a big deal because we knew we had a baby on the way. And I was at a point where I couldn't even really, walk from the bed to the bathroom in the morning without, just wanting to scream and punch a hole in the wall. So I started going to physical therapy, which did not have any effect. I tried the steroid injections, which did not have any effect. I ran into an issue with the insurance, which told me that they needed to see 3 months of physical therapy before they would approve an MRI. And if I wanted it before that, I would have to pay the, $5-6 grand or whatever out of pocket. So I did the 3 months of physical therapy, got the MRI. The MRI finally showed a large herniation at L5-S1. And I went to a surgeon. I'm over here in New Jersey, so I was at the New Jersey Spine Center in Chatham, seeing Dr. Shabe, Dr. Scott Shabe, who was fantastic. I liked him a lot. And finally, a year ago today, I had that surgery. I was really terrified. I had never had surgery before. I had this really sort of irrational fear of general anesthesia. I was very convinced that once I was put down, I was not going to wake back up. That was the big thing that was kind of, making me second guess having the surgery, which is crazy, but there it is. Fear of the unknown, I guess. But I had the surgery, went in the morning. The surgery took about an hour and a half, and I woke up, started walking around. The pain in my back from the incision was pretty horrible, but I hobbled my way from the hospital bed to the bathroom in the hospital, and there was no sciatica in my leg. So I was completely sciatica free from the moment I woke up from surgery. I went home that day. The post-op stuff, I was very, very disciplined. I followed all the directions. And I was pretty much at home, just laying down. And when I wasn't laying down, they tell you to walk as much as you can possibly tolerate, which I did. And within 2 weeks, my back from the actual procedure had pretty much healed up, and I was back at work. And everything seemed like it was really going great. So I would say within about 6 weeks, I was feeling really quite normal. All of the pain, I think about that 5-6 week point, all of the pain from the actual incision and the actual surgery was gone, and the sciatica never came back. So it's 1 year later. I feel fantastic. After about 3 to 4 months, I was back to doing some basic exercise, and then I waited a full 6 months to start running again, just because you get that micro compression on those vertebral discs when you run. So I was really worried about that. So I waited a full 6 months to start running, but now after 6 months, I would say 100% back to normal in terms of my life. Am I 100% pain-free? No, I would describe myself as 99.5% pain-free. Every now and then, depending on how I sit, I'll feel a tiny little shade of sciatica down my leg, or like if I move my back in a weird way. But what I do feel is, I would describe it as like 0.5% of the pain I was in. It's truly negligible. So I would definitely say that I would definitely call my experience a 100% success. I'm just so thrilled. I was thrilled with Dr. Shabe. I was thrilled with the procedure. I was thrilled with the recovery. Just, follow all the directions if you decide to go through with it. I will say that me being in pretty good shape helped a lot. I only really stopped exercising maybe like 3 to 4 months before the surgery. By that point, I was in too much pain to do any sort of exercise. But by the time I had the surgery, I was still in very good shape, and I think that helps the recovery. So my advice to you, if you're considering the surgery, is what hopefully your surgeon is telling you, which is that any surgery, should be the absolute last resort. If you haven't given it at least like 2-3 months to heal on its own, don't have surgery yet. If you haven't done a few months of physical therapy with a really good physical therapist, and I had one that specialized in spinal disorders, if you haven't done that, don't have surgery yet. If you haven't tried the steroid injections, don't have surgery yet. But if you have done all that stuff like I did, and your personal life and your physical and mental well-being are going down the toilet because you're in excruciating pain 24/7, and you've tried all of those things, then I would say go for it. They've been doing this procedure for like 35 years now, and I would say it's really perfected. Make sure you get a surgeon that does like 50 of these a month. Don't go to some general surgeon who hasn't done a microdiscectomy in 2 years. Find the guy who's doing like 10, 20 of them a month. That's who you want cutting you open. But yeah, if you're considering it, I had a completely amazing experience. I got my life back, and I'm just so thrilled. So it's a year later. I'm in fantastic shape, and I can walk around with my little girl, and that's all that mattered to me. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'd be happy to get back at some of you, and I hope that some of you who are considering this surgery will find this helpful. Okay, bye-bye.